Welcome to the Anthem podcast, you disgusting little weak, pathetic babies. This is Corey, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob.
We are joined here today by Kenny.
What's up?
New star of the Anthem digital network.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for months now, but starting this fall, we are expanding outward, and the very first podcast is going to be coming to you this week. You will be able to get a preview episode released on your streams through the Anthem. So it'll be coming, if you subscribe to our network or to our podcast, you'll get the first episode through us.
Yep.
And after that, you will have to subscribe directly to Dirty Shore Underground, which is a podcast Kenny has coming. Go ahead and say hi.
What's up?
Man, a few words.
I'm waiting for the Kraken bomb to kick in.
He's not the best in the business for nothing.
But yeah, so the way things are going to be moving in the fall is the very first one we have coming out is Dirty Shore Underground. So tell us a little bit about your podcast, what people can expect when they listen to it.
A little bit of everything from music to anime, video games, reviews. We're going to do a review of Fear the Walking Dead. I'm sure everybody's highly anticipated about it, if those are the right words. Yeah.
So we have we've already done a couple of discussions about music.
Yeah, we've had had Eric on the air. I don't know if that one will actually hit because I kept playing with the shit while I was trying to record. So the week after that, me and Rob did one. The following week, Rob co-hosted with me. We had Tony over. Last week, you guys had Tony on. Yeah. I can't wait to hear that, because I'm sure that was a bit of a different route than what we took with him.
Definitely so.
Yes.
So we do things a little out of order. Here's the secret behind the screen. You may not hear things in the order in which we actually record things. That's kind of how the beauty and the horror of this is that we get to kind of do things the way we want to do them. So you'll hear a preview episode this week. As I said, that'll be released on the Anthem. Just by subscribing to us, you'll be able to hear the preview episode. And then, of course, you'll have directions to how to subscribe to Kenny's podcast. And then from there, you'll be able to go in and hear that every week, too.
And do we have the web address live for...
It's not live yet, but it will be live when we have that episode. You can, just like you can for our shows, we'll have show notes set up, and you'll be able to go in the show notes and get all that information.
All right, so if you're interested, go to the show page for this episode and check it out, because so far it's been very entertaining listening.
It's going to be a little bit of everything on Kenny's podcast, and I mean, I guess that's kind of how everything goes. So,
yeah.
But like I said, we have some other stuff coming up that we're very excited about. This fall is going to be a lot of big things happening, and it starts out this week with Dirty Shore Underground. So,
with ADHD, you can't stick to one thing very long.
Well, that kind of
don't need to talk to me about that. I know all about it.
Yeah, so very exciting stuff, and I hope everybody tunes in for that. And I've been on there a couple of times, and like I said, it's everything is a little different. Don't expect that you're going to get the same thing that you get from Corey and I. I mean, we have our own dynamic here. What we do is something very different, and every time you listen to something else on the network, you're going to get a different experience, I think. So
yeah, and that's important, because you don't want to hear the same stories over and over again, the same experiences, but I think overall it's just it's nice to have the nice variety on the network.
Yeah, you don't want 6 days of Corey and I this is not Corolla. We don't have 6 shows where we talk about the same stuff all week long. So.
Oh, Natalia.
Doesn't hurt that I started live streaming either.
No,
it brings in that interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an interesting thing that we don't do, that you'll actually be able to do on Kenny's, is that you'll be able to participate live, watch him as he's recording, and you can ask questions. You can be participating while it's going on. And then if you can't, then you can listen to the podcast later.
And what's the Twitter for...
Dirty Shore UG.
Dirty Shore UG.
Yes, it's DIRTYSHOREUG.
Yeah,
Twitter.
Also the same on Facebook.
Yep. So
the graphic will be up tomorrow.
Nice.
Sometime.
So when you check out the if you follow those, then you'll be able to know when the live stream is happening.
Yeah.
How to get there, and
usually Rob's there, so we post it to Twitter and Facebook, and I don't know. We had 7 watchers the other night.
Yeah.
Which really ain't bad. One was Karina. One was you, but that's cool, because that's still somebody, and you were interacting with us, which changes the whole dynamic.
Right.
Which is when we got to remember that when we're recording the podcast, we got to be able to tell them what you're hearing us talk about is because we're talking to people who's watching right now.
Right. Yeah. So that was not unlike every other week when Corey comes out with something rather original. He was actually quoting from a presidential candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead. Do you have that quote again? Can you pull it up?
I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, just pull it up real quick. So this campaign has become one where you never quite know what someone's going to say.
Donald Trump
go ahead.
calls Martin O'Malley a disgusting little weak pathetic baby for some, I guess, go back.
For those playing along at home, these are two grown men who are running for the highest office in the land.
Yes. And
one called the other a weak, disgusting, whatever.
Pathetic baby.
Yeah. I can't even. The political discourse in the country now is at this level.
But, because Martin O'Malley is polling at less than 1%, I imagine that we have to discuss anytime he does anything because people don't know.
Well, and I just like to do it to make fun of him.
But he was at a campaign stop in Iowa, I believe it was.
That's where they are now, yeah.
And his thing was interrupted by some people in the Black Lives Matter movement.
Now, and for those of you who haven't been paying attention, they've gotten a little traction because, they've gained and lost. They interrupted Bernie Sanders.
Right.
And Bernie Sanders responded by appointing someone in his campaign to be a ambassador of sorts to the Black Lives Matter movement and incorporate that whole side of the platform into his presidential platform.
Yeah.
Kudos to Bernie for doing that.
Right.
Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, said, "You're not going to interrupt me. This is a part of a bigger issue," and basically shut them down.
Right.
Not the way to handle that.
But did meet with two people from
Yes. Did what she had to do. And then so Martin O'Malley being, I guess, the third place runner in the Democratic field now?
Sure.
If you want to call it that, if there's a third place.
He's in the running for whatever the third place is.
Yeah. So we got the big two and then
with
everybody
Lincoln
else.
Chafee and Jim Webb.
So anyway, so he got interrupted.
And he did the same thing that the same mistake everyone seems to make, which is go, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter.
Right.
And then clearly showed that he has no understanding of what this was all about. And he quickly apologized for it. He said, I didn't mean any disrespect, blah, 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 blah. And Donald basically called him a pathetic little weak baby because he, apologized for what he said.
He basically gave and I think what Donald's point was that he had a PC apology. That he backed away from what was a very strong statement, a very Republican statement. The Republicans have been pushing this all lives matter stuff. And so then he backed away and gave a very PC, like, I didn't really mean it like that. What I meant was we have a race relation problem in this country and we need to really address, basically said, forget what I said. This is what I should have said now that I've talked to my policy people. Right. Here's my new statement on the matter.
Well, I think we can all agree, like, at the end of the day, yes, all lives matter.
Yeah.
But the reason why we're having the Black Lives Matter conversation is because the Black lives are being targeted at a much higher clip than the other lives.
At a rate 30 times greater than anyone else every single week. And every time I see something, I saw the one you talked about last week, the Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream.
Yeah.
All dreams matter. And I talked about it a couple weeks ago, the houses burning. Like, yes, we get it. All lives matter. And all police lives matter too. Absolutely. But that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about a very specific problem.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't think the Republicans get it at all. They just really don't. First of all, our system is broken in unfathomable ways. When a 15-year-old in Iowa has entered the race in 9 states under the pseudonym D's Nuts.
Yeah.
And he forces...
Well, he doesn't have to actually be checked on until later on in the process. So he
didn't have to be checked on at all?
Yeah.
Because he came out and was like, "Oh yeah, no, that was me. I totally entered the race." And forces news reporters to be like, "New front runner in the independent section, D's Nuts." But North Carolina, Donald Trump's polling at 40%. Hillary Clinton's polling at 28%. The third next highest poller, D's nuts, at 9%.
Well,
I feel like Tony would make everybody feel like chumps in more way than one.
But actually, who's running against Andy Harris?
You know what? It is funny because when I first met Tony, like when he first came to my place, I was just like, God damn, he looks so much like Terry Crews. Like, we should just basically make him like President Camacho.
And that's what it's like, because they're both jacked as shit, and they're both funny at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, I love anything he's in.
Yeah.
What was it, Gridiron? Or no, Longest Yard.
Longest Yard?
Just,
Hey, listen, right now I don't know of anybody running for Congress against Andy Harris, so let's put him up there.
All right,
well,
Tony.
who would? Like,
Huh? Well, nobody's going to run as a Republican.
Do they accept write-ins?
Yeah, I mean, you can
Let's
write
do
in
it.
anybody anytime. So.
Antone Reynolds.
There you go. There we're starting out the campaign for you, Tony. So there you go. Now you're in.
well, the paperwork, it's surprise. You're running against Andy Harris.
No, so I want to say I apologize. I don't apologize, but I said I would withhold judgment, and I have withheld judgment until it's absolutely necessary. And now it's clear he has admitted guilt. It is all true, and I will follow in your example and say that he is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and Jared is a pedophile piece of shit. So there you go. So
well,
I rescind my previous comments.
I think when we had talked about it, I had I talked about Ian Watkins of Lost Prophets, and how, because I was a fan, I didn't want to judge like before the ruling was in, basically.
Yeah.
But the thing I learned about that particular kind of story is that they're not going to tell you anything. Like, prosecutors or like the FBI won't say anything unless they're kind of sure they're going to be able to get that through.
Well, and the problem was that they weren't saying that they had found anything at his house. They were saying that investigating him was part of the investigation for the other guy.
Right.
Which is why I said, let's not throw him under the bus.
Yeah.
We do know that the other guy was making videos in his basement, so let's just withhold judgment.
Yeah.
But come to find out, he was making videos in his basement for Jared.
Yeah.
At his request. So
Jared.
it turns out that the guy probably was a pervert himself, but that everything he did was actually at the request of Jared.
I just wonder how much of the money that came into his charitable foundation ended up going towards some sort of child child pornography.
The thought turns my stomach. I can't even.
Like, as morally speaking, I like to think like I'm sort of like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
But if somebody was just like, hey, doing that might get you in jail for 10 years, I'd be like, maybe not.
Well, I don't want to say that exactly, because there may be things that you do that could put you in jail.
Maybe. Possibly.
Have you done anything recently that could put you in jail?
Lots of things. Lots of things.
But we don't talk about that on the podcast.
No, absolutely
this
not.
could be brought up.
Self-incrimination. But so,
I don't know about that.
But what I'll say is that
I'll have you all know this is only for entertainment purposes.
Exactly.
for entertainment purposes only.
Fucking kids these days
Oh.
are like, I see middle school kids who look like they're dressing like high school kids used to dress when we were in high school.
Yeah, you can't. And
high school kids are dressing like they're like 23 years old and going to the club.
In all fairness, when we grew up, all we had was Nintendo. Now these dumbass, spoiled ass kids have iPhones and
right. Well, I mean,
exposed to more.
people are growing up quicker than ever.
Yeah.
But I would say that, goddamn, like,
eat your kid's ass.
If I was 19 years old right now,
yeah,
like, I would be so fucking terrified about whoever I talk to.
dude, I come on,
like,
now.
I would be so fucking terrified to like just walk up to some cute girl and be like, oh, you want to go back to my place and fuck, and then find out that she was like fucking 14 years old later.
This is the terror I live with every day.
Robin is 18 tender age.
So it turns out that he pled guilty to a couple of different counts. He crossed state lines and had sex with an underage girl. After he had sex with her, to assume that, I guess, assumedly she wasn't a police officer, he then asked for younger girls and that the head of his foundation made videos in his basement of children in various stages of undress and doing various things, and then gave the videos to him. Mm-hmm. So truly a sick individual, and he will be serving no less than 5 years in prison, no more than 13, but no less than 5 years, and he has to pay $100,000 to each of the victims. Victims
total of $1.4 million.
$1.4 million. But each of the victims being the people, the 17-year-old,
right?
And then so Josh Duggar, the gift that keeps on giving, back in the news. So you'll remember Josh Duggar from earlier episodes of the podcast. Let's see. What did he do? He was on 19 Kids Accounting.
Yeah.
And he's a super hypocrite because he didn't follow his father's teachings. He also diddled his sisters. Yeah. And apologized.
And other girls.
And other girls.
Younger.
He
didn't really get any kind of proper
punishment or treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was on the campaign trail for Mike Huckabee, and remains on the campaign trail with him. And now, come to find out,
and was the head of the parent.
Oh, right.
Research Council, I think is the name of it.
Family Research Council.
Family Research Council.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much all about keeping LGBT rights.
Because let's keep in mind this, folks. The gays are ruining the sanctity of marriage.
Yeah, and they're taking away all our Christian values, which are love everybody and treat others as you wish to be treated. And
so, surprise, surprise.
Love the sinner, not the sin.
Surprise, surprise. Ashley Madison leak happened a couple of weeks ago. We did mention it, but none of the information had come out.
Right. It was just sort of like, stay tuned.
Yeah. Basically what they said is, if people come out and out themselves, we won't release the information. It was a little bit of a terrorist demand about things that needed to happen.
Yeah.
Didn't happen, so the hackers were like, okay, dump. Here's all the information.
Right. Here's everybody.
Which hacker group did it?
I don't know that anybody even said who they were. They just said, we have the information.
Yeah.
And this is how we won't release it. And so then as soon as they dumped it, then a group of very intelligent people created ways that you could search through it and find out if people you knew were on it.
And by the way, Ashley Madison has since put cease and desist orders out on a lot of those.
Right, because you can't use the Ashley Madison name in it. So, like, the ones that are still up are the ones that say, cheating website information leak search or something like that that don't use Ashley Madison. But so, basically what comes out is that we thought that Josh Duggar was a hypocrite. And we were right. And he's even bigger hypocrite than we thought. His press release after that was...
Which one?
Well, the first one that he released after it was just like, I'm a sinner and I have an addiction to pornography and to having sex with women who are not my wife or cheating on my wife or something.
Yeah.
Like,
and he also admitted fault for what had happened when he was diddling his sisters and other girls when they were all underage.
Oh, wow.
But the apology that has since been released, it's been edited like 4 or 5 times of just like eliminated little bits of that. Like
he was on Ashley Madison and cheating on his wife, apparently, and paying good money to do it.
Yeah.
And now all his sexual proclivities are out there, and good, because fuck him. Fuck you, Josh Duggar. Just, it upsets me so much.
Well, what upsets me, and this has always sort of been my take, and we had this conversation and agreed on this, like, pretty much right away in the beginning of our friendship.
Yeah.
Which is, if, like, you're dating some girl and say you met, like, the love of your life or whatever. Like, you were out at a bar and it's just like, oh my God, like, I have to be with this girl. Like, she's the one. Then you don't cheat on the one you're with. You just call her up. At the very bare minimum, just call up the person you're with and be like, "Listen,
breaking up with you for the next 3 hours.
I'm breaking. We're breaking up. I found something better. Yeah. Sorry. Like, peace. Like, and at the very bare minimum, you deserve. You should make that call.
And good for her for staying by him. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
but
I would want absolutely nothing to do with him anymore.
And I mean, I can get maybe the forgiving the things that happened when he was younger, the hiding it part is and not telling her about it. This though, the 2 years of while they're going through this shit, by the way, He was on there in May of this year.
Yeah.
After all of the shit broke.
Right.
So
yeah.
while all that's going on.
And that's something we were talking about at the game. Like, I feel like if I was a celebrity of his level, and everything that I do is going to be scrutinized to a degree, then I'm going, like, as soon as, like, it comes out, like, you know, Josh Duggar, you know, diddled his sisters when they were all teenagers, then I'd be like, all right, I'm in shutdown mode now. Yeah. Absolutely nothing that I do, because I don't want any kind of indiscretion that may be in my life, I don't want a picture snapped of that.
Right.
Because that's the next part of the story.
Yep.
Because if Josh Duggar, obviously, hypothetically, this is a made-up situation, but if Josh Duggar, like, went to buy heroin on a shady corner or something like that, all it takes is one picture, and it's just like, Josh Duggar diddled his sisters buying heroin. Like, you know, like, I would shut down anything.
Right.
And because you don't have an idea of what you're doing, like, he clearly just doesn't get it.
And by the way, the wife stands by him when he's going through all that.
Yeah.
And that's the even bigger insult, is that your family's going through this horrific thing, and you're stepping out on your wife while that's happening.
Yeah.
Not even just shutdown mode to keep appearances up, but to do that.
And the OkCupid profile, which
that's right.
Because he started an OK, so he had a very specific email that he started the Ashley Madison accounts with, and somebody searched OkCupid for that username and found somebody right outside of DC, which is where Josh Duggar was when he was doing Family Research
Council. We got a lot of good stuff coming up this fall. The first of which is coming up this week. Yep. So make sure you check out Dirty Shore Underground. Like I said, the first episode will be coming out through your subscription to Oh the Anthem. You'll be able to get that episode. Make sure you subscribe to Dirty Shore Underground. We'll have all the directions to do that in the show notes for that episode there. Mm-hmm. And you'll be able to find it. It's Dirty Shore UG on Twitter and Facebook. Yep. And we'll have a website up and all the stuff, all the usual iTunes and Dogcatcher and Stitcher and everywhere
and
else.
I'll just say to your fans now, if anybody listening to this podcast was wondering why I kept cutting you both off, I had a big ass thing of cracking bomb on my way in the door.
So it's good stuff, and I've been on a couple episodes, so I can tell you that there's a lot of good stuff coming. So make sure you take a listen.
I had to fight to talk. I'm not used to 3. It's enough to fight to talk with him.
But yeah, so make sure you check it out. And like I said, a couple of good episodes coming. So
you can find more Oh the Anthem at ohtheanthem.com, Corey at ohtheanthem.com, Oh the Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com to find links to my books where you can buy them on Amazon. And you can find links to all the other websites, familyfuture.us and deaddrop.com, and all the other stuff that I have going on too. We're going to find your personal stuff. Do you want to put your personal stuff
books
on?
YouTube.com/user/KDiddy08. You'll find videos for Tony, Eric, other bands I've done from heavy metal to death metal. I have videos where I've been backstage with the likes of the Cottonmouth Kings, Send Dog from Cypress Hill. Those videos just ain't online. There's plenty of abstract on there, which if you're from the Eastern Shore, you should know who they are.
So you can find, and they can find that and all that more information there. So make sure you check that out. So
yeah, well, I feel like we've done good here today.
Well, we've done something today. I don't know if it's good. So, as always, you're listening to the Oh the Anthem podcast, part of the growing Oh the Anthem digital network. For Corey and Kenny, this is Rob.
Thanks for having me on.
Have a great week, everybody.
Everyone check out Dirty Shore Underground.
Dirty Shore Underground, Oh the Anthem digital network.